Alright, so I've been using the same keyboard in my gaming setup now for quite a while. It's the Logitech G515 Lightspeed TKL, and it's done the trick perfectly from great gaming performance to nice aesthetic, but is it time for something new to come along and take its place in the setup? Well, today we're going to be looking at a new contender, the Logitech G515 Lightspeed TKL wireless keyboard. And is this going to be good enough to take its place in the gaming setup? Let's take a look and find out. Before we get into it, let's get this keyboard unboxed and see what's what. Opening up the box, the first thing we notice is the connectivity instructions are actually printed on the inside of the box rather than as a loose piece of paper that you'll definitely lose. We then of course have the keyboard itself, which comes wrapped in this protective paper, and one thing I am slightly disappointed about straight away is the fact that the G515 Lightspeed TKL came with a nice protective carry case in the box for if you were planning to take it on the go, but as you can see we don't have one with the G515 sadly. Of course we are comparing a Pro Series keyboard here with the G Series, so that would explain why, but I do think it would be a nice inclusion. Underneath we have some documentation that you definitely won't read, and then in this little box in the bottom we have a USB-A to USB-C cable for charging and the little wireless extender. Then if we turn over the keyboard itself, tucked away in here we also have the wireless USB dongle. Looking at the design of the G515, as you can see it has this nice low profile look which I have to say is very sleek and clean. The keyboard has a full plastic design with the main keyboard in this clean white which sits on top of a grey base which goes all the way around, including this raised section at the back. And then the underside is also grey and has this very nice textured finish all the way along, which I think is a small but nice touch. We also have some rubber feet around the edge for extra grip, and there are two different flip out feet, one with a 4-degree angle and one with an 8-degree angle. So if you want, you can adjust the height of the keyboard depending on which is the most comfortable for your typing style. I normally have mine on the highest setting, but it does look super clean with the low profile design completely flat on the desk. We also then have 3 buttons on the raised section for wireless, Bluetooth and game mode. Then on the other side are indicator lights for caps lock and battery life. And finally on the back is a USB-C charging port and the on-off switch. We don't have the onboard profile memory buttons or the volume rocker and media controls from the G915, but of course this is a smaller TKL compared to the full size of the 915. That being said, the Pro X TKL did also include the media buttons, so it would have been nice to see, but isn't the end of the world. Now, I'm not too sure why they made this rear section a darker grey that contrasts so much with the white. I'm a big fan of all white tech, and the G515 Lightspeed TKL I've been using has this very nice silver look underneath the keys which I think goes better than the darker grey. But I will say the grey on the underside looks a lot nicer than the black on the G515 Lightspeed. By the way, if white isn't your vibe, you can also get this in a black version too, which also has the grey base for contrast. As mentioned, this is a low profile keyboard, and at just 22mm in height, it really does fit the sleek and ergonomic vibe perfectly. The low profile keycaps are made from double shot PBT rather than ABS, which is a big plus for me, so thank you Logitech for making that change, and they have shine through characters to allow the RGB lighting to come through them. The keyboard also features low profile GL mechanical switches. In this particular one we have tactile switches, but you can also choose from linear if that's what you prefer. Usually I go with linear myself, so I'm interested to see how I enjoy the tactile feel. If you're a fan of clicky switches, the G515 doesn't offer these as an option, so you'll have to make do with linear or tactile. And for those of you who are interested, here is a sound test of the keyboard with those tactile switches. One thing I really like on this keyboard straight away are the stabilizers. They are extremely good quality and there is no wobble at all, especially on the spacebar. Often these aren't great on gaming keyboards, but these ones feel and sound super smooth. The switches are factory lubed and the keyboard comes with a sound dampening layered construction, and honestly it really does feel and sound extremely nice to type on, and that's coming from someone who spends most of their day typing on a £400 custom keyboard. But unless you're boring like me, you're probably not here to see how it sounds and feels when typing, you want to know how it performs when gaming. The low-profile GL mechanical switches have an actuation point of 1.3mm and are built for faster reaction times. I'm not really a competitive FPS gamer, and even when I do play FPS games, I'm absolutely awful at them. So I can't give you an idea of whether the keyboard will give you a more competitive edge in game, but what I can say is that the keyboard feels incredibly fast and responsive in game and is actually very enjoyable to use. I'm not used to gaming using a low profile keyboard like this, but it's actually extremely comfortable and easy to play on. I tried gaming with the keyboard at all 3 angles, and while having it flat was very playable, I did still prefer the 8-degree angle over the others. The factory lube switches feel very nice and each key press is smooth and pleasant, which again I know is not something everyone is bothered about, but for me I really like. Overall, the gaming experience on this keyboard was very nice and I would definitely be happy using this on a regular basis. Now, as with all Logitech keyboards and gear, you can change and customize all sorts of things within the G-Hub software. If you have the software installed, it will automatically detect the keyboard as soon as you plug it in. A really cool feature of this keyboard is the 2-device pairing Lightspeed receiver, which allows you to pair your compatible mouse with the keyboard receiver, so you only need a single USB in order to connect both devices. I'm using the G Pro X Superlight mouse already in this setup, so this is perfect for me, and this is the list of devices currently compatible with this feature. You can also customize the RGB lighting on the keyboard in a bunch of different ways. You can choose from a bunch of preset effects within the software. Freestyle mode allows you to customize the color of each individual key to your liking, and animations allows you to add some cool animated lighting effects to the keyboard. You can also choose to sync the lighting with your other devices if you'd like. G-Hub also allows you to remap all of the keys with different shortcuts and macros. You can remap all of the keys with different assignments based on what you need, and you can actually assign up to a maximum of 5 extra custom assignments to a single key. And finally, with game mode, you can also disable certain keys, so the only ones you need are actually active. Now, with this being a wireless keyboard, you're probably wondering about battery life. Well, Logitech say that the battery can last up to 36 hours, and I've had the keyboard in my setup for a few days, and as you can see, it still has 57% battery left. And this was without even charging the keyboard after taking it out of the box, so battery life is definitely not an issue on here if you were wanting to use it wirelessly. So overall then, is this keyboard worth getting? Well, after using it for a few days, I would absolutely say yes. I wasn't sure how I'd feel having never used a low profile keyboard before, but honestly, it's kind of blown me away. The design is incredibly sleek and there's no denying it looks great in the setup. Gaming and typing on here is extremely nice, with the factory lube switches and sound dampening giving a pleasant typing experience with each key press, and it feels nice and responsive in game. The ability to connect 2 devices to the same receiver is great if you want to cut down on the mess of cables coming from your PC, and the ability to change and customize the controls and RGB lighting from within the G-Hub software is a great plus as well. In terms of price, the G515 comes in at $139.99, which is significantly cheaper than the G915 at $229.99 and the Pro X TKL at $199. And honestly, after my experiences using it, I would definitely say that it's worth picking one of these up. Of course, let me know any thoughts or questions you have down in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. And if you enjoyed today's video, then hit that thumbs up to show the algorithm, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I have some massive things on the horizon that you won't want to miss out on, so keep an eye out. And we're also almost at 150,000 subs on the channel, which is amazing, so thank you for all the support. I'll be back with another video very soon, so I'll catch you there. See you later.